Hello guys and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I was really just trying to do a short video on value investing versus growth investing. And essentially all I was trying to say is that I've started to understand why more people suggest investing in growth stocks instead of value stocks. And you could say that value stocks are sort of looking at the past, where we try and see if historically a company has performed well and whether it's going to go up in future. Or for example, investing in an index fund where you normally get 10% returns annually year on year. Whereas growth investing is where you'd invest in growth stocks, so unproven, untested companies, maybe more like Tesla or gene editing or 3D printing or genomic sequencing, new companies, Web 3.0, NFTs, those kind of technologies that haven't yet been proven and the companies are just starting out. And the idea of why you'd invest in them is because the potential for growth is much, much higher. So people would think, most rational people would be like, okay, why would I invest in growth stocks when I can invest in value stocks? Because value stocks are proven and I'm still going to get 10%, right? 10% compounding every year seems like a lot, right? But here's the thing. Here's a compound interest calculator from NerdWallet. And let's take the situation of me. So I just finished uni and I'm about to go to Australia. So let's say I'm someone in my 20s and I'm an immigrant, so I don't have a lot of money. So this might apply to you if maybe you grew up in Australia and maybe you're 16, 17, or maybe it's the same. You've just finished university, you've netted a job that pays you about $20 to $25. So maybe you're earning like $3,000, $5,000 a month, and you can only spare $500 a month, right? So basically, here is scenario A. You have an initial deposit of $1,000, and every month you're going to contribute $500 for a period of 10 years with a 10% rate of return year on year. If you do 500 times 12, because there are 12 months of the year, times 10, you're basically going to get $61. So you'll get $60,000. And if you add the initial deposit of $1,000, then the total will be $61,000. And we can see that only nets you $98,000. So I don't know about you, but when I want to invest in stocks, I imagine, doubling, tripling, at least getting 4 times my money, right? Like that's what we really want. And $500 a month isn't really chump change. Like I don't really know many people my age who put away $500 a month just to invest, because rent alone is maybe that amount. It's $500 a week, so 2,000 every 28 days, and that doesn't count for utilities, or maybe you're saving up to buy a vehicle, right? There are a lot of expenses for someone who's just entered the working market. But you might be saying, well, that's only because you're young, so you're not making a lot of money. But we can up the ante a bit. Let's say our initial deposit is $5,000, and each month we contribute, say, let's even make it $2,000, right? So that's someone who's earning significantly more than me if they can. I mean, I don't have a job yet, but I did work there for a while, so I know what the pay rates are like. So someone who's able to put away $2,000, right? $2,000 a month. And what do they get? They still only get 10, wait, hold on. Yeah. They still only get 395,000 dollars in total after the 10 years. But now that we've said it's $2,000 a month, let's calculate how much they've actually invested. So 2,000 times 12, because we're doing it, or just times 120, right? Multiplying it times 120, because that's the 12 for each month and 10 for each year. So you're investing $240,000. That's crazy, right? Over a 10-year period, $240,000 into the stock market, and all you're getting is 395 at the 10% return. Let's say we up the ante. Let's say you find some amazing stock and you get a 20% return. Again, still not at $1 million. Instead, we have 656,000. So we've put in $240,000 per total over a span of 10 years, and we've only gotten back 656. So we're not even withdrawing anything, right? We're not withdrawing anything from our investment. If anything, we're contributing to it 2,000 every month, right? So you're tirelessly putting in 2,000 every month, and you only end up with 656. So again, that's still not a great return, especially when we're looking at a 20% return rate, right? Which is double what the S&P 500 gives you. So if you invested in an index fund, it wouldn't grow that much. It would only be half. It would only be 10%. If you're lucky, maybe 13%. Or let's even give it 14%. So yeah, 14%. Then maybe if you're lucky, you can double your money, because that's just exactly double plus $3,000. And our initial deposit was $5,000, so not even double. So my point is simply that investing in the stock market can be tricky in the sense that if you are value investing, it's gonna take a while for you to reach $1 million. Like, it's gonna take a really long time. Can you imagine 10 years? 10 years putting away $2,000 a year. 10 years, all because you've chosen either an index fund or value stocks. So that's where I think the argument for growth stocks comes in, where you're targeting really, really high growth rate stocks. So I don't know, if we go back to our initial example of $1,000 and we're contributing 500, we want some insane growth rate, right? Oof, what happened? So again, with our initial investment rate, if you go back to our original concept of investing $1,000 and then 500 every month at a 40% return, that's when we get 826. So the real money, right? That's where the real money comes in. So yeah, I have started to see the value of growth investing, pun intended. Maybe more realistically, we put in 1,000 dollars. Let's maybe reduce the growth rate to 30. Yeah, something like that. Maybe $1,000 every month. Maybe let's do it even like, maybe 2 5, or let's just say we're going to start off with $3,000 and maybe put in 1 5, right? And maybe put in 25%. There we go. I think that's something more reasonable, right? If we start off with $3,000, so instead of buying a new used car, I guess that's an oxymoron, you decide I'm going to put it in the stock market, and you've reached the point you're no longer at a beginning career. Maybe you've had 3 4 years of experience, or maybe you still live with your parents so you don't pay any rent money. So like, yup, $1,500 a month, I can spare that. And you do that for 10 years, but you're investing in a growth stock that has 25% returns. Then definitely you can start to make real money in the stock market, because that's what we're after. And I recently signed up for this application called Stake. And basically, I'm 25. So it said if I had invested on my 5th birthday, so this quote is specific to me, it was generated by the application when I signed up to it. It said if I had bought $5,000 worth of Apple stock, then it would now be worth 2 million. So you see, that is beyond 25% or 40% growth rate, because this is no investments at all, right? We're just talking about a one-time buy of 5,000, and then guess what? You end up with 2 million. So I do think growth investing does have a role in terms of how much stock, how much wealth you're able to generate. So I do see, again, the value in investing in companies that are just taking off, like people who invested in Tesla. I know there's a story about him on Twitter, a guy who invested $10,000 and made $1 million. And I think that's what we really want to shoot for. Of course, it's a very, I don't know if I should say obscure example, because Apple literally has the highest market cap, right? Highest market cap of like 3 trillion. So it's the most valuable company in the world. And chances are, if we invest in a company now, I doubt it's going to be the most valuable company in the world in 10 years, especially 5,000. Because if you have a portfolio, then your portfolio is going to consist of different stocks. So if you're just the average Joe and you're trying to diversify your portfolio, then obviously, then you're not going to just have 5,000 dipped in one stock, right? So most likely, if you had $5,000, it would be diversified. Like, I know Warren Buffett says you shouldn't really diversify, but even he says you should have like maybe 5 good stocks. So it would be more like 1,000, right? Maybe 1,000 in a really good company. So I'm not necessarily sure that the example is a general reflection of what the stock market is like. Yes, I think you can make returns, but I don't expect to invest 5,000, a one-off investment of 5,000 and make 2 million. I don't really expect that. I expect maybe, if I'm really lucky, I expect maybe I'll invest a total of 50,000 and make 1 million, or maybe 100,000 and make 1 million. If I can do that, then yeah, I would say it was worthwhile investing in stocks instead of using the money to just start a business instead. But that's why I've always recommended starting a business instead is probably more likely to get you better returns, because the average time span of a launch to IPO, initial public offering, is 7 to 10 years. But normally by 7 years, people do it. So in 7 years, you could be the next Facebook, the next Snapchat, the next Google. Again, maybe not that high, right? Maybe not that high, but a lot of people, I think there are about 28 million millionaires in the US alone. So you could be someone who, when you launch your company, you're worth like at least 30 million. I really don't think you can get returns like that in the stock market. So definitely my advice has always been business first. But this isn't really a video about business, it's about stocks. So for stocks, my advice is just, I think 50% of your portfolio should be in growth stocks. But again, I'm not a financial advisor, so go do your own research. And yeah, I'm not liable if everything goes tits up and you lose all your money. This is not financial advice. This is for education and entertainment purposes only. That's just the legal disclaimer that I have to say. But yeah, those are just my thoughts. Part one of my thoughts on growth versus value investing.